The next thing I want to do is the Oregon Trail stuff that I said I would do. So, in case you didn't know, my main copy of Oregon Trail 5 right here, it has some really weird glitches on it, which is not something you would expect on a CD. But the final version, which I got as well, does not experience any of these glitches. I thought I would just real quickly showcase what happens with that. So I want to demonstrate what my first copy does and then what the final version does. So I'm not necessarily gonna play Oregon Trail exactly. I'm just gonna show some of the glitches that I'm experiencing. And I've experienced this for well over a decade, and it turns out it was the version of Oregon Trail I had. I thought it might have been something wrong with the computer, because when I did it in elementary school, it didn't experience any of these problems. So I'll just show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to demonstrate some Oregon Trail stuff now. And I'm going to mute the sound just for copyright. It's not really necessary to have any of the sounds. It kind of sways away from the main point. Sounds aren't really glitchy at all. So anyway, let's try this out. So, what's really cool about the discs is once you install them, then you can run them without needing to insert the CD, which there's quite a few programs where you need the CD to run the app you installed from the CD. Like Microsoft Baseball, for example, that needs the CD. And Oregon Trail does not, which is pretty sweet. So this is that glitchy copy. I want to just showcase some of the differences as well. So you'll notice that the icon is different. This is a different icon than what you get on the final version, which I thought was kind of interesting. One other thing that I will point out is if you install it and try to run it, it might just keep crashing. I always thought it was because of Windows compatibility, but that actually has nothing to do with it. The reason it kept crashing is actually because of the path that it's stored in. It assumes that it's C:/program files. Back in the day before we had program files x86, it was just program files back in the day. And it has that absolute path hard-coded somewhere. So if you go to the Oregon5.dat, I think, I'll open that. I might as well open it with Notepad++. That's actually not the file I'm thinking of. It's a different file. Oh, .ini, that's what I'm thinking of. So to fix Oregon Trail crashing, you need to change this path from C:/program files/ whatever to the correct path. In my case, it's this one. So I just changed this path, and then Oregon Trail will run without crashing. So if you're trying to run it and it crashes, that should fix it. So yeah, if it's crashing, just change the path to the correct one, since it's absolute. If it was relative paths, I don't think any of this would be happening. That happens on the final version too, because it was basically abandonware. So let's run it once and see if it works. I'm going to show you some of the glitches that I experience. If it'll even run. There we go. So this is of course what you get when it first starts up. And when I did that, on my old computer, this actually used to lag massively on Windows 2000. So I'm going to skip that intro. So the first thing you'll notice on this particular version right here is the new game and load game are in a different order. On the final version, new game is all the way on the left, load game is here in the center, and quick start is still right there. Another interesting thing is when you click on quick start, on my version right here, it always does Sherry, but on the final version it will do a random name. But for me it does Sherry regardless on this particular version. When you click new game, I think this pretty much works exactly the same. I think this does random names right here. And I think some of the dollar values are slightly different too, if I remember correctly. Some of these default settings may actually be different. Like there might be a default or a different month. Might be a different thing selected here. I honestly have no idea. So this chooses a random name right there. But in the quick start mode it does not. Okay, so how do I get out of here? This is not what I want to do. Do I seriously need to quit the app if I want to do quick start? I'm gonna restart this and go into quick start mode, so why don't we do a snap transition, huh? Ready? Okay, so I had to close it out of Task Manager and restart it. When I exit via the Task Manager, the resolution doesn't change back to the correct one, which is pretty noteworthy. But I just launched it again and here I am. So I'm gonna put my name there. As you can see, it did Sherry again, but on the latest version it would have done another random name. So I'm gonna skip past all this too. So I wanted to show another glitch that I tend to run into. I think I'm gonna actually create a new game, which now that I think about it, I could have done that from the start. Because it's winter and I want to show stuff pertaining to fishing, which I can't do in the winter. So this is perfect right here. So the first thing I'm gonna have to do is buy like fishing spear and whatnot. I may already have some, but I might not. So fish. There's nothing pertaining to fishing gear, probably because it's in a different store. I'm doing the quick start because it really does get you up and running quickly. This probably won't have any fishing stuff under tools and utensils. Let's find a different store. Probably this one. Yeah, the general store will have it. Yeah, so I don't think I need a fishing net, but I'll get one anyway. I need a fishing pole. May as well get a fishing spear too, because why not? So now I have what I need to show you the fishing glitch that's on here. That's essentially what I was trying to do. So this is a perfect place for fishing now. So I used to think it was my Windows 2000 computer that caused this problem, but it happened on every computer I ran it on. A Windows XP computer. I think I even tried it on a Windows 95 computer if I remember correctly. Because I had a Windows 95 computer at one point. But let me show you fishing now. So there's no water, as you can see right here. If you look at the PDF that even came with this disk, it shows water on the PDF, but this doesn't show any water, which is quite unfortunate. So if I try to cast a line, this is what happens. The water animates a bit faster than normal, but the fish are completely gone. not gone, but they're not moving at all. So why in the world is this happening? Isn't that weird? There's no way to catch fish. It just doesn't work, which is very unfortunate because I knew it was possible because I seen it on a different version at elementary school. But this doesn't let me do it properly for whatever reason. So the other thing that's noteworthy is there's a gun right there. There's also these buttons too, which is not on the final version. So that's another interesting difference that's worth noting. I think there might be something up here too. I can't remember. I think the default simulation speed on my version is fast, but on the other version I think it's medium if I remember correctly. So those are some interesting differences between what you get on an official disc and the final version. Why would that be? I think there is something interesting that happens while hunting as well. So that's 3 feet. I forget which one of these you want to do. I want to get to an area where I can hunt. I lost stuff. Who cares? I bet he elected captain because I properly cleaned up the mess. I can't hunt in town. I should be able to hunt right here. I think there were some glitches with hunting as well, if I remember correctly. Oh, guess I can't do it here. We'll get an area where we can. I think we can do it right here. I think actually this is something where this version works better than the final, if I remember correctly. So there we go. Oh, no. I couldn't reload because I couldn't even see it. And it was just too late. Oh man. Oh well. So, actually I didn't even show my main point yet. So when I click the reload right here, that works instantly like you would expect. But I think the final version does something different. I'll try to emulate what the final version does. So if I shoot, what the final version does is something like this. It goes like this and then back to there. Then it finally, I just click and then it goes up, down, and then straight, which is bizarre. I'll show the final version. We'll see if it happens in there. So this is what my version does, right? So now let's... Oh, look at that. The resolution never even changed. I want to deal with this. So now let's launch the final version, which has a different icon. You remember the previous version has this icon right there. The final version, which is also the icon of this particular disc right here, is that icon instead. So this is a newer version of Oregon Trail. So let's run that once and see how it works. So we can kind of compare the differences. Because I thought these were just interesting, noteworthy points, and I've never seen anyone mention anything like this. I just got an unlucky version, I think. So that behaves like you'd expect. That's the same. But now you can see that new game and load game are flipped compared to what happened before. They're also closer together than I think they were before too. I could be wrong about that. We'll have to wait and see. But now if I click quick start, see now it does a random name, not Sherry like it was before. Isn't that interesting? So I'll put my name in again. This might be different too, I'm not even sure. So that's winter, which is not what I want for fishing. Oh, did it just crash? That's interesting. I will reload the game and I have to just minimize. Why was that? That's odd. I'm gonna work this all out and get in a season that I want to be and resume. So I'll be right back. Maybe we can do one of these again. Ready? Alright, we're back in a more appropriate season. So let's grab our fishing gear that we need again, which should be in the general store. It might be in here, I'm not sure. Nope. This looks like a place where it could be. Yep. Fishing net, which we may or may not use. I think the budget that you end up having might be different between the versions as well. I don't even know. So I think we got what we need for that. We're glitching out a little bit. Don't even know what's happening. Did it just crash? Let me see if I can bring it back real quick. It's possible that my barrier's causing things to glitch out in weird ways. Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, I'm gonna get to a point where I can fish and let's resume, huh? Alright, I think we're ready to roll. So I got everything I need, and you'll notice that the price of everything is quite a bit lower. Lots of inflation has happened since this time, hasn't it? So now if I fish on here instead, I think things are flickering a lot more than it used to as well. But now if I fish, there's water now. Isn't that weird? This version doesn't have it, but the final version does. And there's no extra buttons here either. It's just this one now too. I always thought there was something wrong with the computer, but it turns out it was the version of Oregon Trail entirely. So now there's a little bit more lag with the water animation compared to before, but now I can catch fish unlike before, which is pretty exciting. So yeah, I guess the version matters a lot more than you think. See if we can catch this one. Not worth the time. There we go. Oh man, it just bit. See if we can get one more. But yeah, interesting, isn't it? So the version matters. I've wanted to do this for over a decade, and I finally got to the bottom of it. So why don't we see if there's any differences with the hunting now too. So this is pretty much the same. So I won't be able to hunt in a town. I don't think I can do it where there's a river, if I remember correctly. Oh, I can. I think there's one less button than the other version. But watch what the gun does when I shoot it and reload it. No, it still works the same. I might have done an even different version on Mac OS back in the day, where basically when I clicked it, it would go like this. Oops. So I click the gun and it goes like this. I just replicated what it did by holding down the cursor and moving it in that way. But that's what was actually happening back then. See if we can get them. Oh man, I accidentally right clicked instead of left click with my positioning. I oughta. Oh. No. Oh man, that was close. See if we can get at least one before I wrap up with this. Or if my lighting changed at all, it seems very different. Oh, what? I still missed? Man, I am terrible at this. I used to actually be pretty good. Atrocious. Usually if you shoot it, you'll start a one. Finally got it. So yeah, there's some interesting differences between the two versions. I think that's all I wanted to talk about originally, so let's wrap that part up. So I'm gonna quit the game. I'm gonna have to manually set the resolution back, which glitched out. There we go.